Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 915 and Doubleshot number 809. I have one Marvel trade and one DC trade. First up is the Marvel trade. This is XMen Epic Collection Volume 3, The Sentinels Live. Collecting Uncanny X-Men Volume 1, issues 46 to 66. Kazar Volume 1, issues 2 and 3, and Marvel Tales number 30. Those of you curious about these three issues, why are they in here? Simply put, they are stories for the character. It's a solo feature for Angel. It's a three-part story where the main villain of the storyline is actually his uncle, who takes the name of Diamond. It's Dazzler. Yeah, it takes the name of Dazzler. I'm thinking, Dazzler? You mean Allison Blair? No, not that one. This is actually her predecessor to the role as Dazzler. Yeah, and it's heavily implied at the end of the storyline that Burt Warrington, Angel's uncle, dies by falling off building. Though somehow he showed up alive in the X-Men Hidden Years. Oh, and guess who wrote this particular story? Superman co-creator Jerry Siegel. Yep, he wrote this three-parter. He wrote it in 1967, but it wasn't published until 1970. I don't know why, and apparently this was the only thing he ever did for Marvel. Isn't that weird? Yeah, because pretty much when people think of Jerry Siegel, people think of a lot of his DC work, like a lot of stuff mostly with Superman, the classic Superboy stuff from the Silver Age, which show up basically the late Bronze Age. There's also the creation of the Spectre. That's what people think of when people think of Jerry Siegel. People don't think of him writing for Marvel Comics. Yep. Now, the writers in here are the following. There's like three different ones. If I can get to the right page here. Yeah, I think it's a bit bent out of shape here. Okay. The writers for these issues are Roy Thomas, Arnold Drake, Gary Frederick, Denny O'Neil, and Linda Fleet. Yep. The artwork is done by the awesome Neil Adams, Jim Steranko, and Warner Roth, with these following artists: Don Heck, George Tosca, who actually drew the Angel backup feature, Barry Windsor Smith, and Sal Buscema. Yeah, the thing with the Angel feature, despite the fact book called Kazar, yeah, it was actually printed as a backup feature because here's the thing: the first volume, the first ever Kazar series, was a reprint book. Yep, that's why a lot of the time when Marvel would probably publish Kazar, Volume 2 technically is the first original volume for the character because that published original stories, while the first volume published reprints of his early appearances, like Vex number 10, his Daredevil appearances, stuff like that. Yep. In these issues, we see the debut of the character Shuron. Yep, a character created by Neil Adams. We also see the debut of Larry Trask, the Mark II Sentinels. We see Mesmer return with apparently Magneto. Though, nope, this was like retcon, not by Magneto, but a robot. Yeah, here's the thing about Magneto during these issues. Magneto would not return to the X-Men comics. I mean, it's up here. So apparently his last appearance was actually when Stan Lee wrote the book. Yes. So it took Magneto a long time to come back to the book. He didn't officially come back to the book until Chris Claremont was the writer of the book. Yep. We also see, because of Charles Xavier's death, the X-Men temporarily disband, have also a brief fight with the Juggernaut. We also see the return of the character Fred Duncan, who was an EP agent show at the beginning, and then like after the first few appearances, the guy just stopped showing up in X Comics. It just seemed though that I think it was Arnold Drake who wrote, I think it was Gary Frederick who wrote the issues. I think he wrote them in because I think that a lot of Marvel, I think the writers of this book simply forgot this character existed. So that's why they very featured it. They also had Foggy Nelson show up here for like one issue. They also mentioned it was campaign running for mayor, which he would eventually win. He would actually hold the title of mayor for about 10 years in comics. He would lose it to Blake Tower. Yep, Blake Tower. Yeah. Of course, you also see the X-Men take on the Hulk during the last issue. Issue 65 is noteworthy. Also, Larry Trask apparently started up some things related to the character Havoc. He gave him his costume and his code name. Yes. The costume that he's noteworthy for wearing, his basically his original costume, which is a costume he would wear for a long time, like a really, really long time. Yeah, this costume right here, you see on the cover? Yeah, Larry Trask in the story gave him the costume. Despite the fact I think it was Warner Roth who actually was one who designed the costume for him. And this basically was Havoc's definitive costume for pretty much up until the 1990s. Yeah, for over 30 years. This was his only costume he wore until he joined the government version of X Factor. And after that, after he basically, when he apparently died and he came back, he basically went back to what he wore the Grant Morrison outfit. And since Grant Morrison left, since he finished up his run for X-Men, he pretty much went back to this particular outfit, and he's wearing it ever since then. Oh yeah, we also see a debut of Sunfire in the Pentulum issue, and like toward the end of this run. It's like, okay, we gotta use one more character before we end this classic era, and like, okay, we use Sunfire, a character who's been barely used over the years. He did come back when Marvel decided to basically give the X-Men a rebirth in 1975. Excuse me, yeah. This actually is really good. I highly recommend people fans of X-Men give this book a 9.5, at least a 10 out of 10. It's classic. It's really, really good. Yeah, and speaking of books that are good, we have Dark Knight's Metal, The Resistance. Yep. This book contains the two mini crossovers that came out during the course of the event, the Gotham Resistance and the Bats Out of Hell, plus a couple one-shots. We have Teen Titans Volume 6, number 12, Nightwing Volume 4, number 29, Suicide Squad Volume 5, number 26, and Green Arrow Volume 6, number 32. Bats Out of Hell, Flash Volume 5, number 33, Justice League Volume 3, Issue 32-33, and Hal Jordan Glenn score 32. And of course, they even threw in Batman Lost number 1, Hawkman Found number 1. Yeah, so pretty much this contains most of the crossover that's left. All that's left to go is just the origin one-shots of the evil Batman. Now, these are the Raiders. Now, the first three names in here, which are Scott Snyder, James Tynion, and Josh Williamson. These three guys, Williamson, of course, will write a couple other books in here. These two guys mainly write the Batman Lost one-shot. Josh Williamson will also write the second Justice League issue in here, and the Flash issue, obviously. Jeff Lemire will write Hawkman Found. Ben Percy does Teen Titans and Green Arrow. Tim Sale, of course, does Nightwing. Rob Williams does Suicide Squad. Venditti does the one issue, just like the first one here. And he also does the Howl's Corner issue. Yeah, and here are the artists. Doug Mankey, Yannick Perec. I actually met this guy, really nice guy. Jorge Jimenez, Jay Mondias, Brian Hitch, who actually, he drew the Hawkman one-shot, Hawkman Found, who actually the main artist of the Hawkman title, which was launched like not long after this. Kevin Nolan, Marquette Arfalo, Paul Pelletier, Andrew Halsey, Stefan Seiji, Juan Ferrer, Howard Porter, Liam Sharp, I met this guy, really nice guy, Ethan Skyver, Tyler Kirk, I actually met him too, and Michael Jenin. Yeah, The Resistance. The story started with this one with Damian being separated from Teen Titans and going to this maze, and he runs into Green Arrow, and then later on in the story, runs into Killer Croc and Harley Quinn. And at the end of the story, he runs into Nightwing, which leads to Nightwing one-shot. And they go about just dealing with the whole stuff with the metal. And eventually it's all concluded in the pages of Green Arrow. And of course, now, this crossover I knew about, basically, when it was coming out. Yeah, I knew this prior to this coming out, but as for Batsman, I didn't know the crossover was even coming anyways until I saw this listed for it. And the way the parts of this one is quite interesting. Okay, I think it's Justice League. The way the thing goes is after Gotham Resistance is Batman Lost, then after the Bats Out of Hell, it's Hawkman Found. Yes. I think the way this goes is that Williamson, the Flash issue comes first, then Justice League, then Hal Jordan to Core, and then of course Justice League. It's quite interesting. You have two crossovers, and you have two writers who wrote the beginning story and the ending one. Bats Out of Hell is simply put what the rest of Justice League was up to, where Batman and Superman had disappeared during the course. It's basically what they were up to. Gotham Resistance is simply what the other heroes are up to during this whole all the stuff going on here. Though they do get a chance to fight Devastator in here. He's Devastator and the character who's basically what if Batman became Ares the God of War. Yeah, get a chance to fight him here, which is quite nice. It's too bad they were throwing an issue of Wonder Woman here, which is quite interesting. Yeah, maybe Greg Rucka didn't want anything to do with this crossover. It's a possibility. I'm going to give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really, really good. The Hawkman found is simply put, like, in the main book is basically of Hawkman basically being, well, shown as a giant creature. Yeah, this book is just the explanation of how in the war he got that way. Yeah, and also Batman Lost is simply the explanation of why Batman, like, shows up, like, when he disappears for one issue, and he comes back a few issues later, why he appears old. Batman Lost is basically almost like a time travel story, but it's good. Scott Snyder himself wrote it, and I also appreciate though during Gotham Resistance they actually had an encounter with an owl, and they also mentioned like, hey, didn't you get rid? And of course there was an editorial note about the Better Batman story when Nightwing basically got rid of the Court of Owls. Maybe Tim Seeley got permission from Scott Snyder to basically just shut down the Court of Owls because, well, Scott Snyder himself created them. But yeah, this, of course, is really, really good. That's one thing I love about Dark Knight's Metal, is that not only the main series is good, the tie-ins are good as well. Excuse me, yeah. They also have a small reference what's happening in pages of Green Arrow at this point during the Gotham Resistance crossover. No mention what's going on in Suicide Squad, though. No, it's one thing I thought was a little weird. Like, no mention of what happened in Suicide Squad. Nope, nothing. But yeah, two really good books. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned. Next video I'm going to do, after I, of course, put this video up in the previous one, I'm going to next do One Piece and our Comic Corner, okay? But to this next review. Bye.